Welcome to Unpacking Culture.
Wow, what an intro.
Hey, quickly,
Clearly.
and clearly, how are you?
In the words of my grandmother, fair to middle.
Oh my goodness.
I'm good.
This gonna be a thing?
Yeah.
Very, very old.
Isn't it?
Oh, you're a little muffled now. You're perfect.
I'm perfect now.
Yes, you're perfect now.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we're good. Well, welcome to Unpacking Culture. If this is your first time, my name is Alex Haynes.
And I am Tiff Lanelle.
And we are here every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and also on podcast platform everywhere.
All the places podcast around.
Any podcast.
Pick
platform.
one.
We have conversations that you should be having with your family, your friends, at brunch, at dinner, at breakfast.
Facts.
And this is week 2 of being culturally comfortable.
Facts.
So I know when we talked about this in our little prep meeting, you wanted to have a recap of last week, just to kind of touch about, like, if you missed last week, of course, first and foremost, you need to go subscribe to the podcast. Like right now, I will wait while you do that. Yep, we're waiting. Yeah.
And 3,
2,
and 1.
Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you want. Go subscribe right now. I'm waiting on you.
At the door.
Being culturally comfortable. I'm really culturally comfortable today. I'm going to snack a little bit because I have a lot of things around me. I have meant to bring my water, but I don't have that. So if I bring random things on, if you're listening on the podcast, you're not going to see them, but you may hear Tiff's reaction as I just start pulling things out. It's been a while since I did that, but it's that kind of.
Listen.
Anyway, the title's kind of ambiguous, and so we say culturally comfortable, but Tiff, what exactly does that mean?
So culturally comfortable can mean different things for different people, but it mostly means, long story short, if you feel stuck due to generational curse or responsibility, or if you feel I am all out of my element because I don't know. Okay, there we go. Lord, this is what happens when you travel, people, and you're not using your regular equipment. But anyway, if you feel stuck or you feel like there is a system holding you back or holding you down, or you just can't get out of the comfort zone that you're in. Some people marry your comfort zone because it's culturally comfortable. Some people don't leave the cities that they're in because it's culturally comfortable. Some people don't leave their families because it's culturally comfortable, and you know that you need to leave them suckers alone. Yeah, that's the
It's funny that we go here because we were kind of in a place. It was more of a zenful place last week. Like, you know how you're like, we're talking about it, we're making you feel good a little bit. Like, you know, maybe you're realizing the light bulb was starting to come on a little bit, and then it's kind of like, as I had the conversation, I've had more conversations with people based on the conversation that we had, and additionally, just in natural, like, I have the comfort, the conversation about people being culturally comfortable all the time, and really more so about finding a way to just be. Like, you know, I think there's so much pressure to figure out a way to do it, right? So we are conditioned. Let's talk about conditioning. Like, we talked about this a little bit last week, but I want to put it in this perspective. We're conditioned, like, Americans, period. Let's start with Americans because that's what you and I are. Though they don't like to give us credit for that. There's an American dream, you know, and I think less and less people are starting to ascribe to that. Us four and no more. Me, you, Fido, the 2 kids. Like, no. White picket fence, great job, pension in 30 years, gold watch. Ain't nobody trying to do that shit. So. But that's what you're sold. So we're told that in some way. You go be with your family, go to church, be on the right path, you know, go to your little job, take your kids to dance and football and things. Like, the whole dream is what we're sold to be. So your kids are going to go to college, and after they go to college, then they're going to meet someone and fall in love, and then they're not going to get divorced. They're going to have one job, and it's like this whole perfect dream. So the pressure is on from the time that you learn how to read and walk and talk, and people start to see things. Like, I think our parents put us in things because they see potential sometimes, and then we have parents that put us in things because they didn't get to do things. Follow me? So in that case, you've done a whole lot of things that somebody else wanted you to do. And you alluded to this last week. You were working so hard on plan B. Right. And you realize that this is not no shit that you ever want to do, ever. Right. I don't want to do this. So you start working on plan B before you work on plan A.
Right.
Or you never work on plan A because you've always been told to have a backup plan.
Right.
So you never step into your full
backup plan without letting you try the first plan.
Right. So I think that's troubling. It's troubling to me, right? Because you personally have a desire. I feel this, and I meant to say this last week. I didn't say it last week, but I say it all the time. When I say it to you, you're going to recognize that I've said this before. Mm-hmm. I definitely believe that we are all born with gifts.
Right.
You have a gift. And this is, we're going to get into taking your gift to force yourself out of this cultural comfort. Mm-hmm. Everyone is born with a gift. There's something that you can do that nobody does it like you do it.
Right.
You put some stank on it. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Listen, I'm really ethnic tonight, but you really do something in ways that nobody else does it. There's always money in your gift, whether you've tapped into it or not.
Right.
There is some money in that gift, that God-given gift that you were born with.
Right.
Everybody in your family don't got it.
Or maybe they buried it, which is why it was shifted.
They don't have yours. They may have an element of it, but they don't have it like you have it. There's something that you can do that they can't do.
Your gift will make room for you. That is an old statement. And it's
we have the gift, right? We have the gift. Then we have something that you're passionate about. You usually don't discover your passion until later in life. We're going to be talking to a lot of people listening to this. Maybe you've been sitting at a call center for 5 years and you're like, I hate this. But there's something that you do when you get off that job every day and you realize, I love this. The thing that you would do all the time and never get paid for it, you would find a way to keep your lights on, have some food in your stomach and something to drink on Saturday and Sunday so you can get lit. The thing, whatever that thing is, that's your passion. Let me tell you something. When your gift meets your passion, when you marry those two together, some of you are thinking about what those two things are right now. You will never work for anybody else a day in your life.
Facts.
If you do, you will do it and be the happiest person on the planet. Once you marry your gift and your passion, your purpose becomes unleashed in the world. And what you are here for, like, you are literally enabled to step into a realm that you can't be stopped when you're walking in your purpose. You know why? Because this is the whole reason that you're here. Back to being stuck in the damn cultural vacuum. People will see your gift and stifle it. Listen. Some of you are not listening. You need to turn it up. Maybe you see me. You need to come closer, be all up in my nostrils, and listen very closely. Somebody is going to try to stifle your gift. It happens all the time. There is bliss, though, when you're doing it. You already know how it feels. You feel it. No one else knows the feeling that you feel when you're operating in what you were created to do. On the flip side, what you're passionate about, you discover that. You stumble upon it. When you marry the two, you find your purpose. So, culturally, that's not always acceptable. And that's something that we have to intentionally combat. culturally, it's not always acceptable for you. Let's say you were the oldest and you made it out. And now your parents are like, you need to be a role model for your brother and your sister. You can't go chasing no dreams. I mean, everybody's seen Sister Act 2. Singing does not pay the bills. Singing does not put food on the table. We all know that line. It is just what it is. But it might for you. Don't be afraid to take that chance. Don't be afraid to take that jump. Don't be afraid to kind of step into the unknown. And sometimes we're just nervous about that. And the nerves are normal. The trick to stepping into something outside of yourself is to change, and I said this last week as well, change the things that come out of you. So it's when you wake up in the morning. I told you my remedy. Today is greater. I say it every single day. I believe it every single day. But the people that I talk to, the people that I surround myself with, the people that pour back into me are not people that don't believe that I'm going to fulfill whatever my purpose is. See, when you find people, and some of you, and Tiff, you can probably speak to this as well, there are people that are in your lives that don't affirm you at all. These people may look like your auntie. These people may look like
Your best girlfriend.
Your best friend.
Yeah.
Your best friend for 15 years. Y'all been rolling. Y'all like, that's my role. And then it's like, you start growing. She like, oh, slow down. Oh, why you doing that? I don't like that. That's weird. That's weird. It looks like it's like disguised.
Right.
No, it's not weird. That's me.
Period.
It's what I'm doing. It's where I'm going.
Right.
We should also talk about the danger of what happens when you don't. Because there is a system. We already know, like, there's so much freedom in doing this. And I know it sounds like, it's like, you're like, well, y'all are asking me to do a lot. You're asking me to get real comfortable and to do something. Nobody else is in this space. Nobody in my family has done this. They think I'm crazy. Why would I move to California? I don't have no family there. Who's going to you will be okay.
But that goes back into, I think one of the key things from last week, one of the few key takeaways that we had was stop asking permission. Stop. You don't need everybody's permission to do everything. You don't need anybody's permission to do anything, really, especially when you're making life decisions like that. Alex, you and I have been friends for a very long time. If all of a sudden we started to grow apart and started having conversations that weren't, I can't support you in that, you can't support me in this, whatever, and we can't even like have a consensus of the minds or anything like that, I know that it would be no hard feelings when it went like this. Eventually we may come back here. And that's how it may be with your friends, your family, whatever. I have found, and I think Alex, you can probably attest to this, and many others probably can too. When I have made decisions that my friends or my family or whatever may not agree with, after a little while, they end up coming back around and saying, I see. Okay, I see. I see now. I see now. And there's many celebrities that fit into that. When Meek Mill was 19 with a Band-Aid on his face getting arrested, I'm sure people are looking at him like, oh, he's going to be a co-owner of Lids and he's going to have a record label that's in partnership with Rock Nation, with Jay-Z's Rock Nation label. Oh, he's going to be a criminal justice reform face and activist.
No, they wasn't thinking that.
Y'all wasn't thinking that. No. Y'all was thinking felon. So, I mean, and that's not saying that he made a decision to be a felon. That's not what I'm saying. But when he started having these ideas, I'm sure it wasn't everybody. Nikki wasn't rocking with him. No shade. She left. Look at him now.
Look at her now.
Huh? I'm just saying. Kind of lie.
Here's the thing. I think so there's two parts of this, right? Because people hear these conversations sometimes and they take it, you're like, oh, well, nobody ever believed in me. I'm gonna just do it. Like, don't when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Right? So people out here that are succeeding and they are underdogs, which you could be that person. I want to make that clear. But I always say, I always have a plan because without a plan, you won't do shit. Now, things do not ever go according to plan. I make a plan for everything to the point to where my plans, when things aren't going according to plan for me, I got to calm myself down because I get a little stressed out. I get a little pissed off. I start barking at people. I get mad. But things aren't always going to go according to plan. But if you don't have a plan, you're not going to act.
Right.
When you have a plan, you know how to operate a plan. So even if the plan is not according going the way that you planned it, you know you were prepared to operate and navigate within a plan. You're going to be able to flow.
I agree with that, but I don't want to discount the fact that, okay, so I'm a little smidge of a nerd, and this may not make me a nerd, but for some of you, it's probably gonna make me a nerd. But I watch on occasions the Legends of Tomorrow show, and there's a character on that show from another DC show as well, and he said he's a bank robber, and he always says, make a plan, and then plan for that plan to fail. Because even not all of your plans are going to work out, and there are many situations, there are many examples on both sides. Some where plans have worked out, they've worked out great, they're doing fantastic. There are others where there was no plan, they just kind of were winging it. When my mom moved us to Atlanta from Ohio, she had kind of a plan a little bit. She didn't really know anybody down here though. And like I think I mentioned this last week, my family was like, you'll be back. They'll be back. Many years later, I'm not going to say how many, we're thriving in Atlanta, doing fine, doing well. So yes, sometimes you make a plan, but churchy word alert, sometimes you have to use discernment and just follow the path that you feel is right in your spirit and in your soul. And as the church mother used to say, in your crawl. If it feels right, yes, I did. I see your face. Don't care. Keep your judgment. If it just feels right to you, it may not make sense to anybody else. But if you step into an environment, you step into a circle, you enter into a new group of friends, or you get a new job, you get an interview. Huh?
I said, feel it in your craw. I can't believe you said that.
If you get into something and it just like you just are like, yes, this is what I need. This is it. Do it. Do it and then make a plan, or plan as you go along. Write things down. Stay as organized as possible. And even if that organization for you just means, here's where I am, here's where I want to be in 3 months. And then when you get to 3 months, look at that and say, okay, I'm not there yet. That's okay. What do I want to be in the next 3 months? Well, down steps.
And let's also not give false hope, right? I think it's important to keep in mind that every idea that you have is not the best idea in the world. You're going to think that your plan is the best plan ever. It's going to work flawlessly. I don't see any room for error. There is room for error. Or it's the best idea. It's whether it's a new idea, a new concept, a new business, a new service, whatever it is, you're going to have more than one. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. And so the culture dictates so often what's acceptable. it's important for you to remember, and remember, Tiff, did I say this? Was it last week or maybe a couple weeks ago? Um, there are so many people in our culture that are afraid to do things because they feel like people will think that, well, we don't do that. Black people don't do that. Hold up. History will show you. I almost started talking like Rafiki, but I don't want to reference that horrible movie.
Wow.
But history will show you that we do everything.
Right.
And I like to say it this way: when somebody says, "Well, black people don't do this often, but I do this." If you do it and you're black people do it.
Facts.
That's that. Rewrite the book. Rewrite history. Rewrite it. Be that black person. History will show you that we invented everything anyway.
Well,
We created everything. We invented everything. We are everything.
Even things that we still don't get credit for. Like if you watch I'm a documentaries person. So even in watching different docuseries and stuff, there are surgical techniques that we came up with but didn't get the credit for because we couldn't come up with the idea.
We were 3/5 human.
Somebody else took credit for it.
We were 3/5 human. Just this week, a white woman is taking credit for the bonnet that all black women sleep in.
What?
Come on.
I missed that memo.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's okay. We took care of her. But
okay.
Literally, yeah, they took care of
her.
But I want to touch that, but I'm not gonna do it. But we can keep moving. Yeah. But here's the thing, and then another piece of this. The fear piece. I know I'm gonna stay on fear for a minute because it is such a place that so many of us live. Like fear is the reason that we don't do. Fear is the reason some people are depressed. Fear is the reason that some people don't feel like they are enough. Fear is the reason that some people never try. But the truth is, most people are afraid of things that have never even happened before.
Right. The what ifs.
So, what was a time, Tiff, that you were afraid to do something?
Ooh.
You just didn't know what that was going to do. How it would be received. And I think it's important to share these stories because people think that people that do a lot of things or people that do extremely well or people that are very extroverted extroverts often get misclassified as people that are fearless, but that's not always true.
No, I mean, and you know me, one thing that I have been considering doing is getting a tattoo that says "Do It Afraid" on my wrist because I'm a very high stress, high anxiety person and have a little slight case of OCD where I like to plan and make another plan and then make another plan and be organized and all of that. So there have been quite a few situations where I've had to do something scared. I think the example I gave last week was quitting school, so I won't give that one again. That was definitely a big one. Probably starting my own business. When I started my own business, I really felt like there's tons of people in this industry. What's so different about me that I can make money off of this? And it really is legitimately your gift will make room for you. It's amazing what a yes can do. And I have found that anytime I have put aside my fears or my anxiety and just said yes, or just went with something and trusted that intuition, that discernment, that whatever you want to call it, it has worked out for my benefit. And
every single time, right?
Huh?
Every single time, right?
Every single time. Even especially like this year, This year, I made a couple of decisions at the beginning of the year. I, came up with a word for the year in December and just made different goals at the end of the year, took a retreat in January and came back refreshed and was like, I'm going to do great. And then didn't get anything accomplished all of January and most of February. And so by the end of February, I was discouraged. I was like, girl, you almost through the end of the first quarter and you haven't accomplished a single thing. What are you doing? You made all these goals. You bought a planner. You gave yourself a word of the year and you ain't done jack. Like, what are you look ridiculous. You sound ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? I made the decision in March to recommit myself to what I wanted to accomplish and what I wanted to do. And since that, yes, literally things have just been lining up and working out. Literally, I just started speaking things and trying to say yes to different things. And I'm not calling myself, the year of yes, like Shonda Rhimes. It wasn't even like that. It was just you know what, screw it. The worst that can happen is this will fail and I'll have to pick myself back up and keep going and try the next thing. That's the worst thing that can happen. You're muted if you're talking, Alex.
That happens though.
Yeah, it does.
It happens. And why do you think people feel like they can't recover from it?
I think society has, especially us, we are conditioned to have a fear of failure, whether that be from your family, your friends, your church, or your generational history or whatever. And it goes back to simple things like, well, your daddy was a gambler. So, you go to get a scratch off and all of a sudden you're a gambler in your family because of something that your dad was doing. Or, well, so-and-so tried that. That didn't work either. So it's like between our family, our friends, our surroundings, our church, school, Alex, I don't know if you and I have talked about this or if we talked about it last week. Our guidance counselors told us to go to community college. And we had some of the highest GPAs in the school. So I'm coming to you with letters of recommendation, community service, extracurricular activities, a high GPA to show that I'm very intelligent.
Trigger.
High SAT
Trigger.
Scores, high graduation test scores. And you tell me to go to community college when my Caucasian counterparts have been sitting in class high every day and you tell them to go to the smart schools in Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, and the reason I asked you that question is so that we could get we're gonna come back to the pros, right? But people face opposition in the strangest places. They face it in the strangest places. Absolutely. So it's interesting, Tiffany and I have an interesting dynamic. We've known each other for a long time. This is a story that some people have heard before because we share it with people. Because and I share this story because I always hope that any platform that I'm on, I hope this gets to a parent that thinks that they are not doing enough for their kid. You are enough for your kid. If you care about your kid and you have the tools to give them the abilities, talk to your kid, speak to your kid, read to your kid, write letters with your kid, do unorthodox with your kid, make that kid great. My parents were effective in doing that. Tiff's parents were effective in doing that. We got to a white ass high school. I don't have another way to say that. It was just very, very white. It was just very white. Wow. There were like 35 coloreds in my graduating class. And
he means that literally.
And I mean, everybody that was anything.
Person in our picture.
Yeah. Latino, Black, you're 1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on.
Whatever. I'm triggered because that's an example of how you could have internalized that situation had it not happened back to back. That's right. I have to believe, I have to know that God exists, because had something like that not happened back to back, had you not, Tiff and I, real story, true story, one of the top tier high schools in Georgia. We show up moments apart, 2 different counselors. Two different counselors. Enter the Tiff comes back at the same time. Our appointments were like 10 minutes apart. So she comes back in the room. You know, Tiff, if she's a little upset, she might slam something. She came right in, sat down at the table, just slammed. I said, damn, girl, what the hell is wrong with you? Mind you, our school started at 7:15 in the morning. So it had to be like 8. We haven't been at that long. How are you already? She's like, this bitch just. I'm like, what? I gotta go. Let me find out when I come back. We'll talk about it. It's not even a whole 15 minutes. I'm back in about 6. Come down. I slam things right down next to her. She's like, well, are you ready? I'm like, are you ready? Walk into and mind you, we have overachieving parents. Ooh. Which sometimes had plans for us that weren't ours. So we're great to be telling this story and even hosting this show, specifically this specific episode, because of a situation like this. So my mom had me apply for like 8 schools. The 8 I applied for, I didn't even go to. None of the 8. But at this point, it was still like the first semester of our senior year. Tiff and I had gotten accepted to one college, the same college at this point. And Tiff, she modified the story, but I think it's very important, which is why I'm telling it. I walk into the counselor's office. This lady is a nice Southern lady. She's sitting there. She's like, okay, well, hey, Mr. Haynes, it's nice to see you. How are you? I'm like, I'm fine. She's not even looking at me at all. Well, okay, so at all. No eye contact. I'm just a black man. She sees my black ass walk in. All right, well, it's so good to see you. We don't know what mom and dad's finances look like. So have we thought about college? I was like, who doesn't know what mom and dad's finances look like? She's like, well, I think we should just look at community school because I'm like, what? Like, I haven't looked at outside. I've already applied to all the colleges that I'm going to go to, and I've already gotten into one. Oh, which school? Clark Atlanta University. Clark Atlanta, where is that? I gotta go, actually, bitch, because this is Atlanta. We live in Atlanta. What do you mean? She was like, Clark Atlanta. Most of your friends are going to Georgia State and UGA. Okay, so I just told you. Did you not want to look at community school? Yo, what did I go to school for if that's where you want to send me? Like, that's all you think of me. Like, literally. Now, I had a different counselor than Tiff. Fact. She offers this same story to me. This is the Black experience.
It is.
So when you and I tell this story, Tiff, and I've done this on air on large platforms. Stop running out here with these people talking about their schools are better, the opportunity is better. It's not.
It is not.
They don't see it for you or your Black child. You give this child what they need. Stop doing that. Because this will happen and when you are not there.
Yep.
I have a little tick, so I'm a little crazy. So I was already ready to go off on this woman, the principal, the intercom. I was about to make an announcement. We need to make a mass exodus and get the hell out of here. We're not wanted. They don't see it for us. We're not going anywhere. But I say all of that. I'm a little calm now. You have to see it for yourself. Because
you just triggered me again. Because when I told my mother what that counselor said to me.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Had we not had that experience and been able to change that, at that moment, we have a whole year left here.
Right.
I remember the 4 of us sitting at that table.
Yep.
We had a moment at that time. We literally have to decide right now how we're going to navigate this. Yeah. You have to make the decision on how you're going to navigate. I pull that back into no matter where you are, your default, like what the system is built against you.
Facts.
I don't say that trying to be scary. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to tell you. You can believe me or not believe me. The system is stacked against you.
Right.
But there's something that is in you that is greater than the system. You cannot sit here and tell me that with hundreds of years of oppression that have happened to people like us in this country, that the resilience of the people that are still here, still winning, and still making people mad just because you're living like you have that inside of you, like you do. So the little thing that's going on, like in your family or your friends and people, the disbelief that's happening there, you're greater than that.
Yep.
I said all that to say that. That's the point I was trying to get to. The little thing that makes you say, I didn't go to college, or I didn't finish college, or I don't feel qualified. Have you even tried?
Right.
Who are you talking to? Listen, people make pen pals every day. Y'all are swiping right, swiping left on Tinder. Swipe. Go find some friends that are like-minded, that are doing something that you want to do. Like, right. Get out of your comfort zone and stop being you. Like, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. I know you're like, half of y'all listening right now, you are on Tinder and swiping and listening at the same time while working.
When you could,
or whatever little app you use, whatever it is,
photography class or a writing workshop, or
man, come on,
an acting class.
Like, come on.
Are plenty nowadays. Writing workshops are plenty nowadays. Get on meetup.com and join one of those groups. Get on just stretch. Okay. And I think that the fear conditioning comes from, yes, the system, but it comes from your family, your friends, your church, and your surroundings, because the system conditioned them. They condition them that you need to get that good job and work until retirement years, and then barely have enough in your retirement years to live. That I used to have conversations with my parents, and they're starting to get it now. They're starting to get what I've been saying now. Like, that sounds crazy. And in today's day and age, that's not a thing anymore.
But you just said something real strong. I've had to condition my parents to understand that I had to do it a different way. I had to do it a different way. And listen to this part. They're not going to listen to you.
Not for all.
So it's not about, you can say it. But if you put no action behind it, you're just going to be saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. Do something.
Yep.
Do something. Yep. Go somewhere. Do something. And it starts small. Remember what we said last week? Go to a movie by yourself. Take yourself to dinner. Go 50 miles away by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Safely.
Go. Safely. Well, please. But go do something.
Apparently the Ku Klux Klan is real in 2019. Safely.
Well, that's a whole different show again. I met a young lady in a shop the other day, and she was talking about taking solo trips and how it like terrifies her mom. And anytime I take a trip, my mom is always like, well, who are you going with? Me. I'm going with me. It may scare your family, it may scare your friends, but sometimes you just have to do what's best for you. And even simple things. I had a job quite a few years ago, and I had a manager ask me, well, if something happened, you should have all of your manager's contacts and everything in your phone. And I said, for what? Well, what if something happens and you need a recommendation? I'm not calling you. Well, and it was a whole conversation about settling in and getting comfortable with where you are. And I said, for what? If I die tomorrow, you are going to say, oh man, that's so sad. We're going to miss her. And you're going to have a requisition out tomorrow to replace me.
You know it.
So
they will.
It doesn't even that's just not a thing for us anymore. And these companies can't even keep up with millennials and Generation Z. They have no idea how to keep us, because things that used to take 3 weeks for previous generations to do.
You're giving away secrets.
Okay, well,
some of them still don't know.
Conversation. But anyway,
some of them still don't know that we finished that already. We're done.
Anyway, get out of your comfort zone. Like we said, take a trip. Being culturally comfortable can mean that you are uncomfortable in your current situation because you don't fit your surroundings. And that's fine. And you need to get the fear out of yourself and out of your mind that that's okay. It's not always going to, most time, at least for me, I can't speak for you, Alex. I can't speak for anybody else. At least for me, my decisions don't always make sense to me. But I have had to learn, if it feels right, I got to go with it. The worst I can do is fail. The worst. That's the worst that can happen. And I have learned to pick myself back up enough times that I know how to fail and get back up. What I don't like doing is not trying. Because that's a what if that I can't deal with.
You know how to pick up your bed and walk.
Okay. I'm not going there. The what if that you should be asking yourself is not even a what if. You should not ask yourself, well, what if I fail? What if I don't try? That I want y'all to start changing your perspective to what if I don't try? What if I don't get out of this city? Well, that sounds horrible. Let me move 30 minutes away. Let me move 45 minutes away. Let me not go to that dinner tonight and try something else. Let me talk to that person at the counter just because I don't know them.
It is so simple. It's like, listen.
Things.
Listen, y'all been eating at the same Ruby Tuesday and Ryan's and Golden Corral. No, don't do that. Because that's all they got. And that's where they go.
Go somewhere else.
Listen.
Try that new restaurant that opened up 10 minutes from you.
Investigate. Do something. Johnny Rockets.
Wow.
Just stretch yourself. Like things that you thought that you would never do could really be life-changing.
Ooh. I was about to. I'm going to say it.
Okay. You say it, and I'll say it. I had a conversation right before we started the show. And it was just it was a perspective conversation. It was helpful.
I'm going to say this really quick, and this will probably turn into a whole, we may have to have a whole other show about this. But being culturally comfortable can be bad for your health. If you at Big Mama's house every Sunday, eating that fat back, greens, pork chops, ribs, macaroni and cheese, and everything, but your uncle is sitting there with one leg because he had the sugar, get out of your comfort zone. Go try to eat a salad. And this is no shade. This is no shade to nobody's family, nobody's friends. I have seen generational weight struggles. I have dealt with generational weight struggles. Food today is not the same food your big mama was cooking 50 years ago.
And then it's not the same. It's not the same food our big mama was cooking either.
It's not. They are killing us. They are putting pesticides, antibiotics, chemicals. There's recall. They recall flour. They're recalling things every single day. Pay attention. Pay attention to what you are feeding your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your body. Those are all 5 things that you can become culturally comfortable in that can kill you in every way.
That right there. Listen, I'm done. I'm done. But I will say this. We talk about plans and goals and dreams and aspirations and things like that. And I was talking about it with my best friend. And as I was having the conversation, I said, so oftentimes our expectations are in line with our dreams. And I said, or our plans, or our goals. So I was telling him that earlier, I meditate. I do my Today is Greater. I have a meditation. I need that because I need that. So in that time, I was thinking about embracing, like, I'll talk about just embracing what's happening, embracing the now and everything like that. But my expectations, I realized that sometimes my expectations were still in line with where my dreams and my goals were. But what happens when your dream or what you planned or what your goal was has happened and you haven't realigned your expectations with your reality?
Woo, that's what I like.
When you haven't aligned your expectations with your current reality, you are not free to be.
That's a whole different.
You can't. It is, but I had to say it because it's this, right?
Right.
I knew, I'm using this as an example of something that I was definitely fearful of because, as you know, I was good. I was in a place where I was good. There was absolutely everything I had worked for. And this is how life works, right? Everything I had worked for, I worked my ass off since I was 14. Worked. Build. I turned 30. Things were good. I was like at what more could I have asked for? Moved to New York. What? No. Like what? It was in the plan though. Anybody that's rolled with me, like you, if you've known me for any length of time, you knew that I was going to get here eventually. I thought it was going to be around between 40 and 45, maybe 45 and 50. I got here in 30. That dream, that goal happened 15 years earlier. If I did not embrace, like, this part has already happened, what else am I missing out on? And so sometimes we're so stuck in our own mind, we're stuck in our own plan, our own timing.
Right.
And time has happened. Things have happened. And you are still back here dreaming about up there. And up there is already right here.
That is a whole different show. Before we end this show,
it's oozing out of me.
That's a whole different show, which we will have. We're going to have that show now. But before we go, I wanted to go over some of the companies that had they stopped when they got a no or when it didn't work out, where would they be today?
I was like, I hope we have these ready because I was thinking of those.
I'm going to read some off. So I know you are too, Alex. I'm a huge fan of the show Shark Tank. Sometimes when I need to work or I need some creative juices or I need my business mind on, I literally will just turn on that show and listen to the deals that they make and don't make. But so that's another simple change you can make. Change the TV shows that you watch. Watching simple stuff like that can get you in a different mindset. Anyway, Ring. Let me go back to my little screen. The Ring doorbell. I have two myself. I know plenty of people who have one. They went to Shark Tank, got an offer for $700,000 from one of the sharks, turned it down, and were then later purchased by Amazon for $1 billion. That's with a B. $1 billion. So again, turned down $700,000 from Shark Tank because it wasn't what they needed. It wasn't what they asked for. Got purchased by Amazon for $1 billion. Another company, the Smart Baker, started off with an offer of $75,000. I think they make over $1 million in revenue. Yeah. Turned down a $75,000 offer. They were like, that's not enough. It basically was a no to what they asked for. They now make $1 million in revenue each year for a simple invention, but something that fills a need. They had a gift, they combined it with their purpose, and they filled the need. Now they make over $1 million in revenue each year. There's one called Copa Divina, over 13,000 locations. Another success story. There's another one that I wanted to go over that I now cannot find. I think Chipotle was on Shark Tank. And this is just Shark Tank. If you go to like CNBC has multiple shows where they're buying and selling real estate and watching how those deals and investors are going in and investing in some of these properties and flipping the revenue. There's another one that I watched. I can't think of the name of it, but he goes into different businesses and invest time and energy and sometimes money into what they have going and flips it. So different things like that. Your no may be the no that you need to kick it into high gear. So don't always take your no for a final answer. Sometimes that no is to take you to the next step so that you can get the yes, even if it comes from an unexpected place, even if you create that yes yourself. I've had a couple of people tell me, some people tell you bring a chair to the table, create your own room, and then build a chair and a table in there. You don't need to be in the same room as everybody else.
Build the building next door.
Buy the building next door. Like, I don't need to sit at your table. I got wood, I got nails, I got YouTube. I can figure this thing out. I got Google. I can
As somebody that can tell you, seeking a career in media, knowing that I would be working in media as a kid and experiencing disappointment and just learning about the industry, being in the industry, and watching it materialize when I decided that I was going to put effort into doing things another way and watching explosive things happen because I didn't get stuck in making sure that I was somebody's flunky or but the key I cannot stress this enough. What you put in you, starting with the words that you say, followed by the things that you listen to. I said it last week, ear gate, eye gate. There are podcasts out there that you can just listen to that will, they say that the average CEO reads over 50 books a year. When's the last time you read one?
Facts.
And I'm not even throwing shade, but I'm saying that I go in on my family all the time. Family members that you know what I'm trying to say.
And you may not like all of the things you are not going to like all of the things and decisions that you have to make.
If you don't like reading a book, there's an app you can download and listen to the book.
Fact. Even if it's a Kindle book.
You have listened to The Carter 4 70 times this year. Why?
Wow.
Why? Yes, girl, we know that's your type. That's your type. That's what you like. Big
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay.
It's time to go.
It is. Yeah. That's the fun.
But pick up a damn book. Pick up a damn book. Like, listen. All right. Another secret. Then we're done for real. Do you know that the average person thinks that, like, y'all are so lazy. Y'all are so lazy. Let me tell you something that do you know how many people are sending your favorite celebrity a DM trying to get a response or a hookup? Like, stop sending damn DMs. Do something unconventional. What I learned about, like, stop thinking that your favorite celebrity saw your comment. They didn't see it. Bro, sis, they didn't see it. I am I'm a class Z celebrity, okay? I don't see comments. They didn't see it. They didn't see your damn DM. And finally, it's also important to know that you got to do things that are unconventional. Y'all know I boasted about I have had an amazing producer when I was in Atlanta. She's amazing. She is so out of the box. I literally was I think I learned perseverance from her because she told me often that she's the type of person that has never taken no for an answer. And it's just naturally in her. I will never forget her telling me, she said, when people don't respond to my emails, I show up with a box of donuts. Everyone likes donuts. Can I speak to so-and-so? Oh, I just wanted to drop off these donuts. You got to do things that are unconventional to get yourself to the place that you want to go.
Right.
And if you're not willing to do it, people that follow the rules seldom change the world. Take that with you. Good night.
And good night.
Actually, y'all know how to find us. Good night.
Good night.
That's it.
Alex Unmuted. Follow us everywhere.
The end. People that follow the rules seldom change the world. On that note, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm like literally done.
Listen, it was a travel day for me. I'm done.
Good night.